What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Solemn Circus live video. On the left side here, we have Swordsoul going up against Brandon Despia on the right here. This is going to be a match that we've seen hundreds and hundreds of times, probably a 2-year-old match by now, with updated card text. We do now have Protoss in the Swordsoul deck, and we have a Gimmick Puppet still legal in the Brandon deck. We are going to be seeing Brandon win the die roll here, so we can kind of just jump over and play game 3 if we wanted to right away. We do win the die roll here, so we get to start off. We're going to start off with an activation of a copy of Albion, sending for cost here. We did see the Aluber being thought about normal summoning, but we're going to be dumping the copy of Retribution instead. And we'll get a draw here. That's going to be allowing us to see what we have in our hand before we even start activating. So we do draw into a fusion deployment here, which can let us summon out a copy of Cartesia. Now being able to play through that copy of Imperm that could be dropped on that copy of Aluber being normal summoned. So we're going to be seeing the Aluber being normal summoned here. And then they do have to think. They are thinking on this, so kind of, telling us they have either 1 or 2 Imperms maybe in the hand. But your chances are you're not going to be really Imperming a Aluber while you have Cartesia on the field. And we do search for a copy of what I do believe was Branded Fusion, because we do have the Branded Lost on the field already. We do activate the effect of the Branded Fusion here. We're still able to be Ash, but we do not see an Ash in the hand, therefore we're all in the clear. We get to send a copy of Albaz alongside a copy of... We don't need to send Lubellion because we already have access to the Branded Lost. So chances are we're going to be sending a Dark here, either copy of Tragedies, or might even jump right into the Gimmick Puppet line. So here we're thinking in our heads, this was one of the first tournaments I took Branded back to, and I'm here thinking, I know I'm definitely sending a Dark here, but I guess I'm kind of debating what I want to send. So I was thinking of sending Quem to go right into the Sanctifier. That would let me go into the Cartesia Dues itself, plus the copy of Aluber to go into a Granganol, which is going to be freely dumping the copy of the Gimmick Puppet there, which would have had all access, I believe, under 5 summons. But we are going to be seeing us go for the Lubellion here by using the copy of Gimmick Puppet, and then we're going to be activating the effect of the Lubellion, discarding a card, and then we also chain the Cartesia here to put itself alongside the Lubellion in the graveyard just for a free material. Let's go for that Granganol, and then searching for the Mercurier as well, so we have a negate. And then we are going to be seeing the effect here, making a copy of Mirror Jade, and then we get to send the copy of the Albion with the Granganol effect. We do a fusion at every time we turn. Chainlink 1 is always going to be a fusion because we want to essentially be able to protect us from the Lost. And then we're going to go Mirror Jade effect, sending the copy of Titaniclad to then banish the copy of Aluber. And this is going to let us summon out a Quem during the end phase to let us have the more interruption that we can, alongside having that copy of another card that we can summon out with the Gimmick Puppet there. So we're going to dumping the Quem, and then Quem can dump either another copy of Albaz or a copy of the Cartesia. We still have the Albaz in the graveyard because we discarded it off the Lubellion there. And then we're going to go end phase, set the Branded in red with the copy of Albion as well. And then Cartesia will be able to add to hand. We still have another copy of itself in the graveyard that can be summoned off the copy of the Sanctifier once we do see that being hit. And we're going to go Branded in red here. And fun fact, you can actually use the copy of Granganol because it is a light spellcaster. But we're going to be using the Cartesia as well as the Albaz to go into a copy of Sanctifier here. Sanctifier can then activate as Chainlink 1. We can actually go Chainlink 1 Lost, Chainlink 2 the Sanctifier here to let us search and summon. We're going to be summoning out the copy of Cartesia alongside the copy of the Gimmick Puppet to our opponent's side of the field. And then we search for a copy of the Albion here. We do have a really cool line that we can do with the copy of the Quem alongside the copy of Cartesia and the Mirror Jade. We can go into a copy of a fusion monster. We can't go into Draco Spellia because we have to use a Dark, but Quem can always summon back out that copy of Mirror Jade. But we are in a really good spot here where our opponent doesn't have very much. They are thinking, and they do go, can I just special summon out Protoss? We're just joking around here. We knew that the games are not going to go on for very long. Me and Jason haven't played each other for a long time. He's been a Swordsoul connoisseur for the longest time. Actually, his only deck that he currently owns, because he did sell the Cashier while they were high. But yeah, here he's thinking about what possible options we're talking about, what we could have to be able to play through this. And there isn't really much. There's a normal summon out of a copy of either a Mogi or a Taya, and then set a copy of Blackout. But there's really no board they can do that can actually make through this here, which is really interesting as well. And we're talking what about the extra deck and stuff like that. I don't think he knows what the face down is, so he reveals that he had the one of Protoss once again here. We always talk about this. Whoever goes first always opens up full board, and then our opponent has like one of the good cards in hand. So he has the Protoss going second. He did have the Imperm there that he just could not hit any time. So we did, we could have walked into that really badly by normal summon with that Aluber and then activating its effects. It would have gotten hit with a copy of Imperm right away there. So definitely a good fact that we played correctly and we played with the Albion. That's kind of the stuff like that you just have to realize when you play with your hands. Like, you always want to be able to use those draw effects sometimes. Keyword is sometimes. Be able to play through those other cards that hurt your deck by letting you able to search. So activating the Albion there, sending a copy of a card that doesn't really affect us, that we don't really want to draw, and also letting us essentially replenish the hand. You're essentially just dumping one free card for cost that you don't want to be seeing to essentially replace that Albion in your hand. So you want to be able to play with your full hand essentially, and that's what kind of Albion lets us do, which is really nice. Turning the deck into like an upstart, but just with a free cost essentially. So here we are going to be choose to go second because we know Swordsoul is definitely going to want to go first. They want to summon out a copy of Protoss. I'm assuming they're also going to want to set up a copy of D-Barrier or a copy of Anti-Spell, depending on what we see. And then, we do have to keep in the Gimme Puppet because of the fact that we want to be able to break their board and then Gimme Puppet them during the turn 3 because they will have a lot of resources as well. But yeah, we are going to be seeing them cut, and then we go, actually, we don't want you to have that Protoss, put it to the bottom of the deck. And so we are going to be diving on into game 2 here. A quick game 2, quick game 1 as well, not being able to feel. And they show the bottom card, which was a D-Barrier there, making sure that we do not see the D-Barrier. That's quite nice. But they do have the Moe normal summoning out the copy, or summoning out the token, revealing the Adhara. They're going to go into a copy of the Chijiao here, and then we're going to go activate effect to draw one and then search, which is fine. They search for a copy of what I believe is a Longyong. Here, I could be mistaken. Yeah, so you're going to go for the Longyong here, and they have the Emergence, so they have the Proto Searcher here, and they're going to go effect, and then we go, yeah, that's fine. They're going to search for the copy of the Protoss, and then we hear, well, I still have to get the effects, the three attributes in the graveyard, and they go Longyong, Pichigadhara, which is a second attribute, then we can synchro away into the copy of the Sinister, which is going to be a third attribute, burning us for 12, and then we summon out the Protoss called Dark here, and to set the cake, we set one, pass. So we're looking down a Protoss, a Chijiao, and what I'm going to be assuming is going to be an Anti-Spell. They go in the draw phase. Do I have anything that I would like to activate? They have the copy of Anti-Spell, and that's just it. And we do have the copy of Gimme Puppet in the hand. We constantly talk about that, how, you always open up the stuff. We go, you can play it out, normal summon Albaz, get effect, hit with Chijiao, pass. And so that was game 2 in under 2 minutes, by the way. Kind of crazy how the games of Yu-Gi-Oh! You don't need Tenpai to essentially OTK you. You just need a good old Anti-Spell. Because for some reason, we let those cards be at 1. Maybe D-Barrier to 1 next list. Come on, Konami, please. D-Barrier to 0 would be nice, but D-Barrier to 1 would be okay in my books. It makes it so that you can't trap tricks it out too, which is really actually kind of huge. Essentially just makes Thrust become the only way you can D-Barrier. But at that point, you probably just play better, or different cards, not better cards, because obviously D-Barrier is definitely going to be the best option. But, diving on into the game 3 here, Brandon will have the advantage by going first once again. And, yeah, kind of crazy that we can actually get multiple games in under 10 minutes, by the way. I think the longest period that we've had was siding here so far. Obviously with the talking that you are playing, a lot of times when you end up going to a locals, you end up developing relationships with people. You know what their deck does, and you know what they play. And so just having a kind of a longevity, like if you guys go back and watch, most of the branded versus Swordsoul in the past few months have been me and Jason playing each other, which is kind of nice. We do present our deck going first here. Swordsoul will have lots of options, having multiple hand traps. We can see Ash Boss, we can see Nibiru, we can see DD Crows alongside maybe even some copies of the Bestials. The Bestials can make you able to go for your copies of the level 10 Synchros a lot better. It does get a little bit worse with the banning of the Barone. You no longer can go into like a normal summon of Moe, activate the effect, summon out a copy of a token. And then we start rolling the dice while they're siding. I believe we say if we roll a 5, you're going to brick. And we end up rolling double 5s here. which is kind of funny. You know, if we roll a 5, you'll brick, and we hit 2 5s in a row. Does that mean we both will brick, and we'll have an exchange of hand traps, or I guess board breakers here? But we shall see. So moving on into Game 3, Branded Despia going first against Swordsoul. We see a slap down of cards quickly on the table there. Does that mean that we have no hand traps? We're going to see Standby Main. We're going to activate the effect of Albion once again. Sending for cost. We send a copy of Branded Fusion in the hand, or Branded Fusion in the deck, most likely meaning we have Retribution in the hand here. We do draw a card. We then activate the effect of Fusion Deployment once again, exactly the same way that we've done it before. Summoning out the copy of Cartesia. We now are able to play through Imperm. What else will we see here? We're then going to go, it looks like a spell that we had in hand. Normal Summoning Eluber, activating the effect once again. Searching for another copy of Branded Fusion here. Interesting that we're dumping Branded Fusion off the Albion and still adding it to hand here. Maybe we should have dumped another copy. We have the Branded Opening as well here. Discarding the copy of Gimmick Puppet of Nightmare. Summon out the copy of Quem. And now we have 3 accesses to the best cards in our deck. We're going to be dumping the Albaz as well to get that. So now we essentially have full access through an Ash here on the Branded Fusion. We're going to be seeing the Branded Fusions and the Albaz. And then we can really assign whatever we want here. Setting the Lubellion to have access to the Albion. Now we are actually walking into a Nibiru range here, but it does not matter that much because no matter what, we're going to be getting the Albion in the graveyard. So we're going to need to play through Nib, but definitely not being playing correctly, I guess, is a term here. We're going to be banishing the copy of Albaz, and you should just banish the Gimmick Puppet too. But we do not do that. We banish the copy of Eluber to summon out the copy of Lubellion. Lubellion is going to be discarding the final card, which is going to be a Retribution, and we're going to be adding, or we're going to be shuffling back the Albaz alongside the Lubellion to go into a copy of the Mirror Jade that we haven't put on the field yet. Then we're going to go Lubellion, summoning out by sending the Albion. We're activating the effect, putting the Lost onto the field here. And there's really no need for us to fusion using the Cartesia. We also want to be able to add that Mercurial to the hand. So we're going to be activating the effect, sending the copy, summon out the Garanganol here. And then we do go 1 Lost, 2 Garanganol, 3 Quem. And then we're going to be summoning out the copy of the Cartesia. And that's going to let us search for the copy of Mercurial. So we do now have a negate to play through this. And we do have the Albion, which is going to be able to set the Branded in red here. And we probably just dump a copy of... It's level 5. We'll probably just dump a copy of Magnemite, I believe. So we're going to drop a copy of Magnemite. This is going to be so that we can actually summon out the Sanctifier. You can summon out a copy of Magnemite so we can actually search for a dragon during the end phase here. Most likely going to be a copy of the Albion if we don't search it off the Lost. Lots of different options that we can do depending on how the game goes. We do go end phase. Albion is going to be sending the copy of the Branded in red here. And we are going to be passing turn on this. We do have the Sanctifier set up. Sanctifier set up as well is kind of a funny word, but we have the Mercurial to stop a 1 monster. So they're going to be trying to go to the main phase. We're going to go in the draw phase, activate the effect of Branded in red, targeting the Albaz. We add it back to the hand here. And we're going to use itself alongside a copy of the Quem. We have another one in the deck, which I was saying in the deck profile that you guys saw yesterday. If you guys did not watch it, definitely watch it. I explained why I play certain ratios and why I don't play certain cards. But we definitely, don't need to worry about the Quem because we have another one in the deck. We can send off the Mirror Jade, going for a copy of the Titanic Clad if we have to this turn, to let us get that copy of the second Quem in the deck. We summon with the copy of the not Mirror Swords Knight, but of the Gimmick Puppet alongside the copy of the Magnemite here, and they go, can I synchro summon into a level 9 Gimmick Puppet? Which I don't believe there is in the new support as well, which would be kind of cool. Playing like a universal level 9 or like a 10 synchro. And then they admit defeat here. They drew Imperm for turn once again. They could have hit a copy of like the Cartesia there, but it definitely was not worth it. And, unfortunately, we could see their hand. Their hand was pretty decent, but unfortunately, no hand traps. Especially when Cartesia or Ecclesia, I feel the effect. Like, we don't have to go up with them. And if Gunpowder did get banned, we probably would just transfer over to, like, a different build with something like part of Plant Dragon to play a little bit more often. But regardless, hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. It is a short one there. Able to play out those games pretty quickly. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, see more content like this. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. Don't forget to stay safe. Peace.